Enterprise. BFM 89.9.
Good afternoon. This is Resource Center and I'm Lim Sun Heng sitting in for Frida Liu. As consumers, we choose products and services based on the brand names we recognize. We become loyal to one brand as opposed to another. My guest this afternoon is from the Malaysian Advertisers Association, MAA, Khoo Kar Khoon, president of the organization. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Why is it that Malaysia has so few internationally recognizable brands?
Okay, actually, this is not only peculiar to Malaysia. Actually, this is commonly seen across many Asian countries, with the exception of maybe Korea and Japan in the recent years, where we tend to focus a lot on selling products or services, but not so much of building strong global brands. Okay, we are very good in commoditizing our products, but not putting a brand behind to promote the brand. So, in fact, if you look at the example, in the top 10 global brand list, 8 of the brands are from United States. The Americans are well known for their brand building skills, though some of their products may be manufactured in other countries. So the Americans know the importance of building building the brands and also intellectual properties that form part of their creative economy.
Maybe America is so huge that
Yep.
it drives the people who have products to kind of market it. But compared to a country like Switzerland, it's very small. Switzerland is very small. Malaysia is very small. Switzerland is doing very well with some international brands. Has size got anything to do with how you brand your product?
Actually, it's not really the size. You see, we have to see. Let's say, for instance, if you look at how focused we are in our core competency for the particular nation, if you look at 5 out of the 10 US brands, they are computer related. Let's say Apple, IBM, Google, Microsoft, or Intel. And the other one is 5 Japanese brands are from car manufacturers. The same thing with Italian brands, 7 out of 10 are from fashion related. So from here we could see the government and the industry in these countries, they are taking a leading role in setting the environment for the business to focus on their inherent strength. So be it raw materials, for instance, the rice brands from Thailand, digital incubators, Silicon Valleys in US, or good quality of workforce or resources, technical engineering capability from Germany, where they produce a lot of good engineering product and cars, and also skills, knowledge, or even culture capability from the fashion industry from Italy, chocolate brands from Switzerland. And the thing is that some could even establish a strong national branding that lends strong endorsement to all their products. For instance, Swiss make watches. The moment you buy a watch, you see Swiss make means
regardless of the other brands with it, like it could be Omega, it could be
Longines or Patek Philippe or whatever.
So as long as it's coming from a country with a core competency in doing precision watches.
That's right. In fact, when the country has established that status, it helps a lot of their brands to penetrate into the global markets.
It seems to me that the country has to brand itself too then.
Exactly. Actually, it's very important. Let's say, for instance, you look at the Malaysian context. Brands shouldn't be successful just by chance. We need to have a well-developed long-term plan to ensure we build more globally successful brands over time based on our own key competencies. We can't just wait for an Air Asia or Selangor Peter to appear on its own. So in Malaysia, we have good food culture and the knowledge of halal food manufacturing. We should take advantage of this strength and lead the businesses in making an impact in global arena. We have lots of good quality of raw materials, maybe resources, multicultural or multi-language capability that could turn into our advantage. So we need to have a culture and ambition of building brands instead of selling commodity-like products or services.
In terms of this kind of brands, do they need to be consumer brands, or they can be any kind of brand where basically it's a business-to-business kind of a brand?
Possible. Engineering, like building bridges, tunnels. You look at people like some of the road builders. Some of the big companies, they are just doing just that. So they go overseas. One, they have the key competency. They make their name known locally. They start taking projects from other part of the world.
So there is no distinction between consumer products and business-to-business products.
Yeah, but the most important thing in that country itself, how the government and the industry help in promoting that competency and enable them to establish that expertise.
When you say the government takes initiative to kind of promote, what does the government do?
Okay, actually that is quite a comprehensive process in this whole place. It starts right from education itself. the human resources, the regulatory, the facility. Like in America, when they have a Silicon Valley, when you pull all the brains together, they develop a lot of digital IT products. So when the government provide a lot of these incubators or facilities, automatically you can see there will be a lot of entrepreneurs coming in, and they tap into the opportunity and they start building, the brand, not only for the local market but for overseas as well.
So when we are talking about brands, we're not talking about the name in itself of a product or the service. It has to be a large whole ecosystem.
Exactly. Brand itself there's no value in the brands unless you can deliver something tangible. Yep.
Well, in today's papers, there's an item about how the government's going to identify 5 homegrown LED companies, light emitting diode companies, to go overseas. So what will the government need to do? They're setting aside 5 million ringgit to help these companies.
Okay, there are many ways of going about it. You see, if you want to go into an area that is, if a country is relatively unknown, you don't have the reputation or expertise, you have to spend a little bit more name in promoting yourself in overseas market. So your marketing expenses, your advertising, your roadshow, you have to get in touch with your target market and tell them what you are capable of doing. But somehow, if you have the competency or you've really built your reputation in one market, it can be your immediate market or another market, then people will start recognizing the brand and say, wow, this is a brand that I should work with. Give you an example. If you are talking about fashion brand, why when H&M started an outlet in Malaysia, people willing to queue up for the H&M and for the day to open and they get in or whatever. But if you are a normal boutique, nobody cares. All right, the name itself, even before they reach Malaysia, people are really looking forward to it.
People recognize it.
Exactly.
So for the LED companies to kind of do well, their names have to be kind of recognized overseas.
Yes.
Which leads me to the question: how important is the name of a company? And can a Malaysian company, Alien or Abing integrator, work overseas? So you have to kind of pay a lot of money to for somebody to find you a strong brand.
Okay, a good brand name alone doesn't guarantee you success, but bad one can definitely get you into trouble. All right, especially in a foreign country, if the name sounded rude or insensitive in a local context, that would never work. So difficulty in pronouncing itself or recall too generic are some of the names to be avoided. So a well-thought name could provide some edge in the competitive environment, in particularly if it is targeting a young, trendy or premium market. Imagine you have a brand name like Abing and you're competing with Ferragamo. Then you're going to have a lot of you're going to spend a lot of money. Tell people why they should choose Abing instead of Ferragamo.
I remember when I was in the States, the American companies were selling cars down to South America, so Latin country, and one of the name of the cars was Nova. So, for us, if you look at the word in English, it's one of the stellar stars kind of stuff. But in Spanish, Nova means no go. So a car that goes with Nova doesn't quite work.
Even if you look at some of the top brand in the world, like Apple, or you're talking about BlackBerry, they're basically a name of fruit or whatever. But it's the effort that behind that they build up the brand.
Khoo Kar Khoon, president of the Malaysian Advertisers Association. It pays to advertise, and large companies with deep pockets have the spending power to brand themselves. But what about smaller enterprises? Coming up, we'll look at branding and Malaysian SMEs. This is Resource Center on BFM 89.9, the business station.
iGEM is back. This year, the International Green Tech and Eco Products Exhibition and Conference Malaysia is looking at green tech for growth. Grow trade and investment opportunities for Malaysia's green sector. Grow transaction value among green businesses. Grow jobs in green tech industries. Play your part. Visit igem.com.my or call 03-8024-6500. iGEM 2012, Renewable Energy, Build a Sustainable Malaysia. 10 to 13th October at KL Convention Centre.
Born free.
For ideas to stay financially free, tune in to Ringgit and Cents every Thursday after the 9:30 morning news.
You're free as a roaring tide.
Bankers, financiers, and moneymakers. BFM 89.9.
And this is Resource Center, and I'm Lim Soon Heng, sitting in for Frida Liu. Khoo Kar Khoon, the president of Malaysian Advertisers Association, is my guest today. And we're talking about the importance of branding. If it is a truism, that it pays to advertise. Why is it Malaysian SMEs on the whole do not do so?
Actually, there are many reasons to that. If you look at the composition of the SMEs in Malaysia, high percentage of them are coming from the micro enterprises with turnover of less than 200,000 to 250,000.
So they don't have the money to do it.
Well, okay, yeah. Actually, I mean, if you look at a lot of multinationals, that is even not even sufficient for a TV bus, you know. So, however, with smaller capacity, distribution channels, and target, in fact, there are many other effective ways or channels that they could advertise their products or services. Some are already doing that. They're using leaflets, regional papers, black and white display ads, radio ads, you know, in their communications. But in order to be effective, they must be exposed to more new and affordable options, in particularly through the digital channel. Today, a lot of them, in fact, they set up their own website, they have their own fan page, they have their own social media channels. So, in fact, digital is helping a lot of these small SME companies in promoting themselves.
Because the cost is also lower.
Yeah, and affordable and quite instantaneous, the response and the feedback. And many regard some of the issues, including many regard advertising as a discretionary cost. That means not an investment. So worse when the cost of operation increases, pressure on profitability from shareholders, or when the category gone into a price competition, advertising is the first to go. And some complain about the substantial investment needed for advertising campaigns, but they must remember it is the size of the idea, not the size of the budget that matters. So knowing the strength of your product, who you target, where they are, and what they need, the communication channel and the message that's relevant to the targets will ensure you an effective and efficient communication. And in fact, vast majority of them are a lack of patience. Many wish to see immediate results after advertising. So if you're running a sales promotion with good discount, the chances of seeing the immediate spike in your sales is more possible, but it is sustainable on a longer term. So it is totally different if your intention is to build your brand. So you have to understand your objective for advertising. It must be closely aligned with your marketing and communication objective. Right message, right target, right campaign mechanism. With good understanding of your objective, it will ensure a better advertising campaign. So product at the early stage, for instance, of development will focus more on awareness. So you have to make sure people know your name and they must understand what the brand stands for, what can you do for them, versus a mature brand that wish to maintain customer loyalty. So the purpose is totally different.
No, you mentioned a couple of things. One is that, deep pockets, not small. Our SMEs are a little bit small and their turnover low, so that's why they don't want to spend it in advertising. But the other thing too that you mentioned, which kind of surprised me, was that our SMEs are impatient. They don't want to advertise and they kind of wait for the results.
Yes.
But Asian culture, I would suspect, is the one that it teaches us about patience. Everything is about no need to rush. Tomorrow. So we are, as a culture, we tend to see long term. No, that's my understanding.
Yeah. But in business it's totally different. If you don't see the revenue coming in the next 1 month, you have to pay salary, your risk is very high. You have a lot of commitments. A lot of them, in fact, they either take their own savings into this business and they want to see the returns. And this is very true.
What you're suggesting to me is that it's more an issue of culture and how we approach or understand branding that is an obstacle rather than just not knowing what to do.
No, that's why I say that even the government, the industry, the association, or even the banks, they can play a role in this is by providing a platform for this SME to profile themselves in trade show in everywhere. So even people like in people in the industry have to be aware that some of these SME, they have very good products, they have a lot of good potential, but the issue is how can the industry help them in promoting their products in a more cost effective way, and also to help them to eliminate this kind of fear, how about the investment costs and things like that, even media companies.
Now, going back to something that you said earlier, you said country like Germany, regardless of its products, we know about German engineering. Therefore, when we see a German car or it's something that's made in Germany, we say that's good. Same with Switzerland, Swiss watches. Now, should that apply to us in that we should kind of think about what's Malaysia's competency?
Actually, actually this is my key point in this whole interview. It's like, can we identify our key competency? Give you an example like halal, for instance. Even like Nestle, we are considered a halal hub for all our offices around the world, because we learn and we perfect and we continuously improve the way we promote and sell our halal food. So we become the reference point for a lot of our offices around the world. Why can't the same thing happen to the country? You see, that's why the industry and also the government have to make sure that when we talk about halal, we have very stringent regulations. We have very good quality halal products rolling out, and then we have to weed out the players that are doing injustice to the industry, to make sure that at the end of the day, when we talk about halal, we are really credible, you know.
So we need to have a strong, say, Malaysia equals
Yes.
Italy, fashion and design.
Correct, yeah.
Malaysia, what are we good for?
Exactly.
And once we identify that, then we can do the kind of branding of the products that are kind of and services tied to that
Yes.
that idea.
In fact, it's not too difficult to think about that idea, because everybody in Malaysia knows that when it comes to food, we are very good. But how do we commercialize it? And give an example, like even in certain countries like Hong Kong or even Taiwan, during the mooncake festival, they love to receive mooncakes from Malaysia. They say, wow, the Malaysian is so innovative. Okay, branding Malaysia, mooncake from Malaysia could be one of the best in the world, you know. So this is only one part of it. You can look at other kind of food or whatever. See, so food safety, food security, the government and the industry can help to build the foundation, to make sure that we have a very stringent and solid regulations to protect the safety and security of the food, so that our product become credible in the world market.
So as an organization, how can you help SMEs understand all of these things and also to know what are the activities that they can undertake so that they can become brands that are recognized?
Yeah, as an individual company, in fact, we also work with the MITI or the government agencies to help the SME in improving the way they do their business. For instance, like water conservation, you know, production efficiency and things like that. And at the same time, we are also an active party to most of the association, including MAA, where we also organize talk, dialogues, networking opportunities, and even we participate in some of their session where we share with the SME players on what we learn on branding.
And they just kind of walk into you when you run a workshop, they just sign up and they join these workshops.
Yes, or their association can run a workshop. We can be one of the participants, and during the break, sometimes we build a relationship or friendship with them. Sometimes they even talk to us on the sideline about their issues. You know, that's where we can also give them our input and other things.
What kind of impact do you think folks like you who are from multinationals, who understand branding, who have deep pockets to do branding, what kind of impact does an MAA will have on at the SMEs? How can you help? What does it mean to be associated with you?
Okay, actually, if you look at MAA members' composition, we contribute more than a third of the ADEX of more than 10 billion annually. Okay, in this market, and we have many experienced marketing and communication experts on the council as well as members. We spend most of our time in building brands, perfecting our campaign planning, execution and measurements. We spend lots of time exchanging experience, knowledge and execution and measurements. We share our common concern on issues and taking up on talking to the authority when necessary. MAA is a party in drafting all the codes and everything. So therefore, we are very in touch with the whatever that's happening in the communication, in
the practices, the
yeah,
policies, regulations, and all of that.
And therefore, we provide a platform for all the players, including the SMEs, to learn, collaborate, network, and address common issues with members from various organizations, expertise, and background. So we have strong collaboration and good understanding with the marketing and advertising industry, including the media and advertising agency, media supplier, digital expert, research professionals, sampling, and even other talent houses and everything. So there are many opportunities for members to benefit from this community. So actually, Malaysians, in fact, to be honest with you, we are good people. We are very experienced people. But how do we come together and look at the bigger objective for the whole nation, including the SMEs? Yeah.
And maybe we can have a unified kind of a branding for the country.
Precisely.
Rather than have say we are competent in 30 different things.
Yes, you see the focus. At the end of the day, we have to look at our key competency, and and start focusing on what can we do best. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome.
Khoo Kar Khoon, President of the Malaysian Advertisers Association. Our SMEs can contact MAA for information and aid to better understand and undertake branding exercises. This is Resource Center, and I'm Lim Soon Heng, and you're on BFM 89.9, the business station.